Hi, everybody. Okay, I just want to do a quick, one more quick video here, and I want to talk about, oh, let me turn off my feedback there. Okay. And I want to just talk really quickly about breaking free from the things that are holding us back. Because when we talk about, personal healing, and the reason that it matters so much is because when we're able to step into our power, and when we're able to step into the highest version of ourselves and tap into everything that we are capable of and sharing our gifts with the world, it literally changes the world. And right now, the world needs you more than ever. It needs your most empowered self to be able to show up. Our country needs you and your gifts, our families, our homes, our communities, right? We need people who can step up into the world and model love and empowerment for everyone, right? This is something that is, when we can change our own lives, we change the lives of our families, we change our communities, we change our world when we can step up and give our gifts to everyone around us. But there are things that keep us from being able to do that, right? So when I talk about she is shatterproof is more than a slogan, right? It's my mission in my world, it's my vision, but it's a way of life, right? To live, how do we live in such a way that we are shatterproof in our relationships, in our careers? And how do we live in such a way that we don't get held back by things that happen to us and around us? How do we live from that kind of a place where we are in charge of who we are and how we show up and our emotions and the way that we feel? And how do we create that for ourselves? And like I said, I'm here. My mission in all of this is to help set you free from the things that have been holding you back and keeping you small in the world, so that you can go out and change the world, starting first with yourself and also with your families. So I want to talk to you about that just for a minute. What does it look like to break free from all of that and to live the life that we were really destined to live, to have the relationships that we were destined to have, the love, the confidence, the belonging, the intimacy? Because when we can have all of that, we show up bigger and brighter in the world and we make a difference. And the world needs that right now. And so I just want to spend a moment just to ask you, what is your heart asking to heal? What is your heart asking to release so that it can step into its most confident, most empowered, most on fire life to go and start changing the world, starting with your own world, right? What are the things that you know are holding you back? What are the things that you want to release? If not even, I'm talking about this in a broader sense, because when we empower women and set women on fire, we change the world. That matters. But even before that happens, the first life that's changed is your own, right? And so many of us are living in these cages. So many of us are living in these little fish bowls, right, of our existence, when we could have access to the entire sea, but we're being constrained by things. And so when you think about your relationships, your career, your life, right? All the things that you want, what's holding you back? What are the things that you're carrying that you want to let go of? And let me know in the comments. And what I notice is that the things that hold us back more than anything are all these emotions that we carry, right? Sadness, right, can steal our joy, steal our creativity when we're stuck in grief and we're literally living that out. I lived out grief for years, and it had all kinds of really nasty impacts for me. The way that I dealt with a lot of that, like, it was through food, sex, drinking, drugs, all the things. Because and a lot of that was also a sense of shame and unworthiness that I was carrying. For some of us, it doesn't have that same manifestation, though. For some of us, it looks like overachievement and overworking, and we're burning ourselves out. For some of it's we're stuck in like resentment, right, or anger that we just can't seem to let go of. Some of us, it's anxiety. Anxiety can be debilitating, right? What are the things that you're carrying specifically the emotions, because the emotional blocks are the biggest ones. These are actually the things that keep us from our dreams, from keeping us from living our biggest lives. Self doubt, insecurity, a sense of unworthiness, anger, resentment, grief sometimes, like I said, and it's okay to feel these emotions, right? Especially when we're talking about like grief as an example. Of course, there are times that I want to feel grief, that I want to feel sadness. But what can happen when we don't understand how this stuff works is we get stuck in it. And I have watched people live in that grief and that sadness for years, decades even. And it gets stuck. It's like, and it never is able to just be opened up and healed and moved through, right? And we're not able to bring in and create and cultivate the joy and the creativity and the life that we really want, because that's really like in the driver's seat. So I just want to invite you to just take a moment to think about all the things in your life, right, that you might be carrying that you're really ready to let go of. What are the things in your life that you know might be holding you back? What are the emotions that you have that you wish you could let go of? And think too for a second, if you could let go of them, how much more freedom would you have? And what would that freedom create? Would you be more motivated? Would you have more energy? Would you have more creativity? What if you could have the confidence? If you weren't carrying that sense of unworthiness or shame, what would you feel instead? What would you rather feel instead? Right? That's cool to think about, because when we're able to do this, it literally gives us so much more energy and space in our lives to create. And when we do that, we change the world. I want all of us to be able to do that. So think about for a second, why do you feel those things that you're carrying? Why do you feel them? Why do you feel sad? Why do you feel angry? Why do you feel anxious or unworthy? Whatever it is for you. Why do you feel so insecure? Why do you feel self doubt? I want to give you a moment to really think about that. Why do I feel sad? This sadness, man, it's taking up so much space in my life. I'm just really stuck in it. Why do I feel sad? Where do you go to answer that question? Notice this for yourself. You might say something like, I'm feeling sad because my partner said they want a divorce. I'm feeling sad because, what's the reason? Or anger, right? Why are you feeling angry? I'm feeling angry because my boss did this thing at work, right? I'm feeling unworthy because I flunked out of college. I'm feeling unworthy because I can't seem to beat this drinking problem or this eating disorder. I'm feeling unworthy because, maybe also because my partner broke up with me, and I'm thinking, this keeps happening and I'm never going to find love. I'm not lovable, right? Why are you feeling anxious? It's a good one. The anxiety, right? Why are you feeling so anxious? I don't have enough money. This thing's going on with my family member, right? What's the reason that you're feeling this emotion that's really sticking for you, that you can't seem to move on from? Think for a moment about, how is that emotion really holding me back in my life? And what I want to show you is, where did you give the power to? Notice when I ask you, why did you feel that? Where are you giving your power to? Because what's likely is, for most of you, you are giving the power to something outside of you. You're giving the power to something that is outside of you and that likely you can't control. And we think this is why we're feeling these emotions. And this is the part that I want to show you and share with you, is because we think the cause of our emotions are these external things, we can't change those things, so we get stuck in it. If I can't control that, and that's what's causing my emotion, then I'm hosed, right? We have no power. We are powerless. And we feel frustrated, and we get stuck in emotional cycles because we don't understand where emotion actually comes from, where it's created, how it works. And when we can understand that, that's when we can begin to release it. And I want to show you that it's not actually outside of you. Those things that we think are causing our emotion are not actually the cause. And you can see this because there are times that I have maybe felt, right, unworthy because of, for me, when I was going through my weight loss journey, I felt unworthy because I had gained like 60 pounds or something in about 8 months. And I felt deep shame and unworthiness about my body. And I spent a lot of time in that and just thinking, I'm only going to feel worthy once I lose this weight, once I change the circumstance, right? Once my partner comes back for me, or they say I'm sorry, or whatever the thing is externally that we think needs to happen so that we can feel better. And what was so cool about this specifically with my weight, which when I began to realize that my body was beautiful exactly the way it was, and when I began to feel worthy without my body ever changing, that's when I began to find my power. When I began to love myself and realize how worthy I was, I felt worthy in exactly the same circumstance. The circumstance wasn't what was causing my emotion. I had agency over my emotional life. And it didn't have anything to do with that thing outside of me. I didn't need that thing to change in order for me to change my emotion. And so this is really good news because this means that all these things that are holding us back, the anxiety, the shame, the unworthiness, the resentment, that is ripping through our relationships, the grief that is just so heavy that's really weighing us down and making it difficult to go through life the way that we want to. All the things that we're carrying, we don't have to wait for the world to change in order to be set free. We can literally do that right now. And this is what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do in this 6-part series that's coming up. So I just wanted to invite you again to participate in that, because what you find when you can learn where emotion is created and how it works, you can actually learn to find emotional freedom right now, exactly where you are, not when. You don't have to wait until your bank account changes, or you get the promotion, or you get the relationship, or you lose the weight, or whatever it is that you're thinking that you need to change, right? You can actually feel worthy right now. You don't have to wait to let go of the anxiety until your bank account changes. You can actually feel confident and safe and secure right now. And some of us are so afraid to do that because we think, well, if I feel safe and secure, we think we need the anxiety in order to be motivated to change, but we don't. In fact, that's what burns us out. It's not sustainable. But when we can create our own emotional safety in any situation, we actually have more clarity, more focus, more motivation, more everything to be able to create the life we want from that place of sustainability, right? When I did this, and I talking about my weight loss stuff, right? And I did want to lose the weight because I was having some health complications around it. And so, but when I felt worthy now, not later, when I was able to cultivate, to release the unworthiness and to cultivate in its place a total self love, a total worthiness, that was when I began to have the sustainability, the emotional sustainability to go through everything that I needed to do in order to start treating my body well, in order to start literally treating myself. That was when I started being like, I'm going to go for a walk, right? Self-love for me didn't mean, going to CrossFit, but it did mean going for a walk. It did mean eating the salad instead of the cheeseburger. And I wasn't doing it to lose the weight necessarily anymore. I was doing it because I loved myself and I wanted to treat myself well. And slowly but surely, the result that I wanted in the world began to manifest because I wasn't giving my power away anymore to the outside circumstances. I learned to create my own emotional life. I learned to create my own emotional life and to feel the things I wanted to feel and to release the things I wanted to release. And then they didn't have to hold me back anymore. And that's what allowed me to begin to start showing up in the world in such a more powerful way. And that's what I want for you. So let me know, shoot me a message if you want to learn how to actually begin to gain agency and control over your emotional life right now. without a single thing changing in your world. How cool would that be if you could actually do that? And you can. How amazing would that be to know that you can feel calm, confident, secure, sexy, accomplished in the face of any circumstance, whatever situation you're in. And when you cultivate the emotion first, you literally create that in your life as a byproduct. You don't change your life first and then get the emotion because of your circumstances. You create the emotion and then everything changes from there. All right. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Like I said, shoot me a message. We're starting this series for anyone that wants to do it on Sunday. So let me know if you want to join us. I love you guys. Talk later. Bye.